Now we're moving from here, from the ancient history to modern history. This is the picture of this is the ceiling of our bike shop. This is our collection hanging from the ceiling. And I really want to give a hint to the guys at our shop. I left the shop. We were talking about a talk here. I said, how about Recumbents? They said, that sounds good. And I emailed back to the shop and I said, would you mind taking all the antiques down and photographing them in the photo booth? And they took them all down, except one, which it's hard to get that one down. And we have some very nice pictures of them, which we never had before. So, modern American Recumbents arrive. Okay, anybody want to guess what some of these bikes are?
Recumbents.
Hey! Anyone want to be more specific?
Upper right looks like a Tour Easy.
This is a Tour Easy, yes, and that is the original zipper fairing.
Long box Vanguard.
No.
Avatar.
Nope.
That's a Stratus.
Come on, here.
Close though.
Hypercycle in the bottom right. Turner's Hypercycle.
It's a Hypercycle, yes, the ancestor. Turner worked on that one, yeah, okay. This one, come on, somebody, ignore this here and look at the frame.
RANS
Stratus. 2 points. Good work. Okay, you're allowed to say this is a Ryan Vanguard because it's the immediate ancestor of a Ryan Vanguard. Now I'm going to talk about, when I give the talk at the shop and we're walking underneath them all on the ceiling, I say there's some incest going on in the ceiling, okay? Because this is an Avatar 2000. And it was reviewed in Bicycle Magazine. And there was a guy that built aluminum truck bodies in Iowa. And his business was down. And he had a friend that built custom road racing bikes. And the bike guy brought a picture of this, the magazine with this bike in it, to the truck guy and said, look, you could build these out of aluminum and this would, you could make money with that. And the guy said, look at all those tubes. There's way too much handwork in that. We can't, no way, we can't do that. So the bike guy went back and he redesigned the bike several times, reducing the number of tubes. And when he got to one tube, the truck guy said, we can do that. And that's where linear came from. So linear is a direct result of this bike being in a magazine. This bike is, say it again, it's a Ryan Vanguard. This company, when the founders at MIT had enough of it, they sold it to Dick Ryan, who changed the name and simplified the design. Notice he went to fewer tubes. See? Too complicated up here. It rode really well, but we can simplify it and make it ride just as well and less expensive to manufacture. This is a defelice. I don't know much about defelice, but I put it on the page because if they didn't see that bike in the magazine or something, I'll be really surprised, but I don't know. Now, going through the bikes one by one. This is the Tour Easy. This bike is a 1978, which according to their webpage, that was the year before they opened. So, it's a one-owner bike. I talked to the guy that, he actually donated it to us. It's the first one in the collection. He said, I will give you this bike if you will collect it and display it. Okay, I'm good with that, So I did. And it has the original fairing. This is the zipper easy fairing. This is the old Cobra seat. Not quite like the newer Cobra seat, but there it is. And he said that he corresponded by mail with Gardner Martin for a while, and Gardner got some measurements and built the bike, and he went to the shop to pick up the bike. When he got there, Gardner closed the shop, and they went for a 2-hour ride together. Now, that's the kind of guy Gardner Martin was. He wanted to make sure people had what they needed, and he did a great job. This bike's got a lot of miles on it, and a whole lot of parts have been replaced, but Also, can you show me one change in the frame that was done between 1978 and 2012? Come on, somebody here owns a Tour Easy.
Diagonal bar taken out?
That's after 2012. You're sharp. Yeah, no, they changed the front fork. They changed virtually nothing. The rear dropouts changed a little bit too. You can't see from this picture, but yeah, it didn't change much at all because Gardner got it. He had it real good, and it's still a good bike. And the modification with the diagonal tube gun is still a good bike. This is the This is the Avatar 2000. This bike is serial number 24. The first production run was 40 bikes. They started them in 78 and finished them in 80. So this one was ordered before they were done, and he got it. This guy wrote it in Paris Press Paris. I talked to the original owner. I got it from the second owner, who said he'd give me a screaming deal on it as long as I promised not to sell it to anyone that wasn't a collector. So that's permanently in the collection also. And the neat thing about this bike is that the original owner wrote it in Paris Press Paris, which is, what, 750 miles or something? And he told me the story. He stopped by the shop to see it hang from the ceiling and told me the story. He started the ride. He met a guy that spoke English, and they got to be friends. They rode about the same pace. And they had a schedule, because if you get back too late, you're out, like the Ironman. You have to stay up to schedule. They got to Brest early. And they said, oh, we're early. They went into town. They had a big meal in a restaurant. They got a massage, looked at their watch. Ah, we're late. And they raced back. And as they came into Paris, they were just making the cutoff at all the time stations. They had a police escort back into town. They were the last ones in, and they made it. They officially finished the ride. So that was the first Recumbent to ride Paris Press Paris. And, I was talking about all the tubes. There's 2 tubes that go from here to the bottom bracket shell. So there's 1, 2, and the bottom bracket shell 3, and there's 4, and yeah, there's a lot of tubes in that bike, and Brian simplified that some. This is the RANS Stratus. This bike is an 81, but they made the Stratus from 78 or 79. It's not clear to me which of the modern American Recumbents is first. There is an American Recumbent. Remember the Schwinn Black Phantom with the tank and the horn and all the rack and all the crap and chrome on it? Right? There's a picture of a Recumbent, I don't have it with me, in a museum that looks very much like that, stylishly, but it's pretty clearly a Recumbent. Whatever happened. Did Schwinn make a prototype and then cancel it? And did somebody make 30 of them in their backyard? Or whatever, I have no idea. So this is one of the bikes with claim to being the first Recumbent in the United States. Gardner Martin is certainly on that list. Typically he's considered the first, but Randy Schiller from RANS, they're right about the same time. And the other thing that's interesting is that the first 4 Recumbents between 78 and 83 are widely dispersed over the country. And there was no internet then, right? The chances are they had not heard of each other and independently came up with this idea. I don't know, but there weren't any Recumbent conventions then, so I don't know what happened. So my guess here is that the controls for the rear brake and the gears are on the stock in front of the seat, because it was hard to get a gear lever long enough. Because going from the handlebar all the way down and back to the rear derailleur, that is a really long cable. And that may be the reason that I haven't asked Randy about it. This is an 81, and the frame is very similar to what's still in production. Because it works. It works well. This is a Hypercycle, and this is a prototype. Notice the front derailleur tube is at the wrong angle, so I'm pretty sure this is a prototype. And it has a TA cranks on it, which means it's really early. Now, I'm guessing 82. I don't know when it is. I'm guessing 82, okay? Hold my feet to the fire. I don't know. Hypercycle. How do you think it handles? It's hyper. Real
Got
hyper.
one out there.
What's that?
We have
Got one out here.
Oh, okay.
You can ride it.
It's a little squirrely sometimes, right? Yeah.
When you get used to it, it's really fun.
The older ones, the Hypercycle, the frame tubing was not as rigid as on some of the later Turner bikes, and the Turners handle better. This one, and then this bike pops up in Recumbent history, I don't know, maybe a dozen times with different people. One time they were manufactured and sold under the name Blackbent, and they were really bad. They were really bad. I rode one once, and if I took one hand off the handlebar, it started to shimmy. And if I was going 10 miles an hour and shook the handlebars a little bit, it just wanted to dance, I didn't want to dance. But, it's a below-seat steering bike with a direct steering, which means the handlebars connected directly to forth. And, think about how you're going to do that. If you put the front wheel where you really want it to get good handling, then it's too far forward for the handlebar to attach to, and now the handlebar is going side to side. We'll see a vision recumbent. That's an issue that still crops up occasionally. This is the one that didn't come down off the ceiling. This is as it arrived at our shop. The earliest mention of it is in the 90s. The patent date is in the early 80s. I didn't have all that research with me. I'm saying 82, but definitely don't hold me on that. But the serial number is in the thousands. Well, I guess I didn't write that down here. But the serial number is it's in the hundreds, so it's not like somebody built 2 or 3 of them. There were several of these. And the molds to make the fiberglass bits, there's a kind of a wing-shaped piece here that covers the frame, and this big thing here is fiberglass, and then this is the shell parts that go over the rear wheel, and the seat is a fiberglass thing with some padding on it. It's a pretty unusual bike.
Are those the original front wheels? I thought they had 12-inch front wheels.
I believe those are. I think the rear is a 12 and the fronts are 20s, but I could be wrong about that. And they may have done different models at different times. I'm not sure. Here it is hanging from the ceiling, all polished up. Let's go back one. How do I do that? Maybe we won't go back. Oh, yeah. Oh, how intuitive. This thing is really weird, right? Well, the gears on this are, there's a chain that goes out here to a 5-speed Sturmey Archer hub that goes to another 5-speed hub that's in the rear wheel. So you've got 2 5-speed hubs, and then you multiply, you get 25. But the chances of having duplicate gears is, of course, extremely high, unless they're using one wide ratio hub, one narrow ratio hub. I haven't checked that out yet, but anyway. It probably was advertised as 25 speeds, but probably doesn't actually have that. Now, it only has a rear brake. You push either handlebar forward, it applies the rear brake. Okay? How far do you think you're going to slide on a downhill stop? Yeah, that's what I thought too. And the other interesting thing is to steer it, you lean, the handlebars are about this long, and you lean them side to side to steer. The seat doesn't lean, but the handlebars do. Yeah, okay, that doesn't sound, this one is missing the rear support to hold up the seat, so we haven't ridden it, but I'm not real excited about it anyway. So there it is, all polished from the ceiling, where we didn't get it down because, although the frame is aluminum, it's a tank, I'll tell you. That thing is a tank.